when I used to hear pitches to VCs, it was all about how are you going to make money and how are you going to exit, right? There was never really, and how my product is so fabulous because it solves this big problem. I think leaning in for social enterprises or entrepreneurs that want impact investment, be clear, right, about your impact story. So what's the social, environmental, or equity problem, right, that you're addressing? How is your business creating a model for positive change? Like, how is it creating something new? And that impact investors want to know that and understand that. And that's what I always admired about the way entrepreneurs come into BII and how they present, right? We actually want to hear your impact story. The second is don't be afraid to talk about your personal journey. Like I did earlier, right? I talked about how my personal journey absolutely influences what I do today. Many of these businesses get started because it's a problem or a crisis or a need that the entrepreneurs have, right? It's very personal. So sharing that from a lived experience standpoint is so important. It's what's going to keep them motivated and passionate. And that's what investors want to see, that you're coming in to solve a problem that you authentically have embraced. Um, the other is we often go to seek capital when you need it. Seek it before you need it, right? So seek the advice of impact investors, or any investor, right, before you need that capital. And I would say seek advice before you make an ask, because that is what is going to build the relationship, right? So I have met so many entrepreneurs, right, that first come and say, I have an idea. What do you think about this? And we start to vet it, and talk about it and start to make introductions and connections. And then, maybe it's a year but that we're actually looking at a pitch deck or a business plan. And I would say, biz business is all about relationships. So really focus on the relationship building. And then the last thing, which is really the most important point, is we think of, especially in Boston, because we're so venture heavy, right? We think of, I need to go to venture capital to start my company. And what I learned over the years, and I'm still learning, is that there's so many different types of capital out there, right? So there's, and I should mention, BII has now gotten certified as a CDFI, a Community Development Finance Institution, which is focused on economic development, community development, providing, really affordable capital, right, to entrepreneurs that are diverse, but also low and moderate income. And many folks don't know about CDFIs. They've never heard of them. And so I would say the way you find these organizations, there's a whole list of CDFIs. BII has many organizations that we co-invest with. And so we're really happy to open that door. But it's not only banks and VC, right? And it depends on what you need money for. So we have a lot of entrepreneurs now that, they're coming to us because they have contracts, they have business, but they need working capital to execute on those contracts. Those contracts maybe, pay late, 60, 90 days out. So how are they going to pay employees, right? And so having things like what we call lines of credit or receivables financing, contract financing, so that you get this money up front to be able to deliver on this contract is really, really important. And it's not often what banks provide. It's not what VC provides unless you're on that growth track. So getting knowledgeable about what do you need money for and what kinds of products are out there is really important for entrepreneurs to educate themselves on, right? So understanding that variety of capital. And then, it's just as important, I say getting into a transaction with any investor is a two-way street, right? So you're also, you want to get in the right relationship. And sometimes relationships can be extractive. Like think of that really bad marriage, right? With a really terrible boyfriend or girlfriend. So you're evaluating these investors just as much as they're evaluating you. So don't just take the first thing that's put in front of you. Really understand, like, are these terms going to make sense for my business for the long term? And am I going to have a good relationship with this investor?